Are you ready to take your personal and business organization to the next level? Today, I'm going to share an app with you that's been a total game changer for me, Notion, which has been my go-to digital Swiss Army knife. Hey everyone, I'm Andy Gibson, and I'm a serial app switcher. I'm constantly looking for the best new apps to enhance my creativity, my productivity, and my organization. When I found Notion a couple years ago, I was blown away by its power and versatility. I'd been using the Apple Notes app, Evernote, Bear, and many more that I'm now forgetting. But once I tried Notion, I found an app that could handle not only my note-taking, but so much more. I'm going to walk you through how to get started with Notion. So you can go to the website, notion.so. What we're going to do is get Notion free. So one of the really cool parts about Notion is that a lot of the features that I use are free. I don't pay for the premium membership. I haven't ever paid for the premium membership, and I feel like I get all the value out of it. So I'm going to use a dummy account here, just going to connect it with Google. And so you got to go through the onboarding process. I'm going to say I use it for personal use, what's on my mind. You can skip all of these if you want. I'm going to do that. That just helps it better tailor templates to you. So what's going to happen is it's going to start you out with just getting acquainted with the interface. What you'll see here is I'm starting out in a page called Getting Started. You'll see we have a number of checkboxes here, which are to-do items. All of these things are standard in Notion. I'll walk you through how to set all of these up. But really, this is just to give you an idea of what's possible. So we have an example of a template here for a monthly budget. This is what's called a database, which is just a table of information. So right now, if I want to go into the first line item, which is salary, I can see here, we have a page that opens up, it slides over, and the salary, we have a property called amount, and I'm able to put $3,500 in here. So this property is essentially just a column in the table. So I can add a new column over here and say, okay, if I can count amount, I could also add in a number of other things. So you have all these options. Potentially, you might want to add in receipts. And so I could upload this and change it to receipts. And then now I can click in here and choose a file and connect a receipt if I would like to. So a lot is possible with Notion. I want to focus on getting started. It can get very complicated very fast, but one of the most important things to keep in mind is it's really built to help you out, do whatever you want to do. And it's best if you come in with an idea of what you're trying to get started with. It might be a simple monthly budget like this, or I'm guessing you might start with a weekly to-do list of things to do, or you might have notes that you just want to start taking. So there's a lot of different ways to use it. And what I find the most helpful is actually just starting out with templates. Notion is highly customizable. It is really built on a framework that allows you to do a whole lot of things. We've talked about use cases. It can do project management / task management. It can do just simple note taking. You can build a site with Notion that's actually live on the internet that people can interact with. You can do habit tracking. You can do content planning. Like really the sky is the limit with it. And so to get a better understanding, I always find it's most helpful if you just dive in and start looking at some of the templates. So the templates cover a lot of different areas, obviously a lot of different use cases. So I might look at personal productivity might be something that I'm focused on. For this piece, I am going to look for, we'll say class notes. That sounds like a good one to get started. So I will click this. It'll show you what it's going to look like. This is just a demo of this. And now we can see the way it's laid out is by subject. So all of this is, of course, customizable, but what we're looking at here is we have a section for biology notes by different topics. We have calculus, we have chemistry. Obviously, you can modify this however you see fit. So you might not be in class anymore. You might have done a lot of school. So you can modify this to be the different clients that you work on, the different projects that you're working on. There are a lot of possibilities with this. You can't interact with it because it's just a template. So what I have to do is click add. And once I click add, now I can start to interact with the actual template. So now it's a part of my own Notion. So once I go in here, now you can see I'll be able to interact with all this stuff. We have a little collapsible icon here. So for these cell structures, let's take a look at this. So Notion is a page of pages. So you have your hierarchy over here on the left side. These are essentially the high-level categories that you're working with. So any of these, of course, you can move to the trash and delete them, remove them from your navigation bar on the left-hand side here, but really you could think of these as just ways to navigate. So what I could do is add new pages to here if you wanted to, and those will show up underneath the class notes. So you really are starting to have a mini like wiki structure, I would say. We'll go over some of the more complicated elements like databases a little bit later in the video. But what I wanted to point out is if you wanted to get started, there's a lot of different ways to get started. Just choose a template that works for you. And there's a lot of ways to present the same information. So you can see here, I clicked on the little tab to change it from by subject to all. This puts it in a data table. So you can actually see we're looking at a database, which is actually what this page is built off of, but it's putting it into a table so that you can understand it. So any of these you can click into, and of course it's going to open up that page. And so here would be the notes for what I've taken for linkage and genetic mapping within the biology subject. So it's easy. You can create a new note here. And for this, we might say we'll keep with the biology. Actually, I don't know much about biology now that I think about it. I'm just going to name this animals because I do not do science very well, but I'm going to label this with a column for biology. This is a part of the properties section, which correlates to the actual table columns. In here, you might want to keep the date. So we'll say the class was today. You can choose to do an AI summary once you have more information in here. But down here, I'm going to put biology. I can't spell. Biology is cool. I love animals. Down here for assignments, we'll say assignment number 1 is due next Friday. What's the date for that? It is November 8th. Down here, additional notes, we'll put Notion is awesome, and I can use this for notes with all of my classes. So just dumb stuff like that. One of the cool pieces of Notion is that they built in AI into a lot of the functionality. So you can create properties or table columns that are based off of some AI stuff. So we could put in a summary of this page. You'll see this down here. It'll do this right here if you want, and you can copy and paste it into here. You can also insert it into the actual page that we're looking at. What I'm actually going to do is just remove this. I'm just going to hit Command Z to go back, close that, and I'm going to go this way so that it actually gets inserted into the property, which means it'll get inserted into the table. So now you can see here, we have my new note for animals, part of our biology subject. Here's the date. And then the AI summary is the document discusses a love for animals, highlights that biology is interesting. It mentions an assignment due on November 8th, notes the usefulness of Notion for taking class notes. Pretty awesome. This would be very helpful back if I was in school, back when I was in school, to be able to do this, to keep track of all these notes. I did notes with pen and paper, sometimes with a laptop, but nothing obviously like this existed. The other thing you can do here is you can interact with the table as well. So if I want to filter information, I can filter it by, let's say, subject. Maybe I only want to see my biology notes. I could do that straight into this all tab, or the other way that I could do it, and I'm going to hit Command Z to go back, I could actually just create a new tab here, a new view, and I'm going to choose table. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to choose layout. I want it to be in a, table works. And what then I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a filter for subjects. We'll just choose biology here. So what I'll do is rename this to biology notes. And so now we have a section for all, which houses all our notes. We have a section that breaks it down by each category, by each subject, as little cards. And then we also have a section where I am only looking at the biology notes piece of that. We had in the other section shown up as wrap columns. So that's why it was looking a little bit different. So we can see same look. Now we've just filtered in or out information. I could go back and change the filter if I wanted to. So right now you can see we're filtering on subject. I could change that. So I'm going to remove that and remove the entire filter. And then I can go back and choose to filter on something else. So maybe I only want to see notes from this week that I'm looking at. And so I can create that. And this will show everything that I've created this week. I don't know what this is, so I'll delete it. And then I would change the name of this to something like this week. So really cool. I've mentioned this a bunch. The easiest way for you to learn the structure of Notion and what's possible is just start out with messing around with templates. These will give you a good idea once you start interacting with them, how things work. It is pretty intuitive. And so I'm confident if you've ever used Excel or Word, or you've been on a website, you've used email, you'll be able to figure out how to use this for a lot of the basic use cases. It does get more complicated when you're trying to do a lot of extension of some of the templates. So there are a lot of customizations that are built into the templates that people have spent hours and hours building templates to do really cool stuff. But if you're just getting started, really focus on the basics, try out a couple different templates and understand how all of that works.